Ladies and gentlemen, in my most recent Bitcoin video 3 days ago, I pulled attention towards the fact that a correction was coming. And the correction has started. In fact, it started in a very aggressive manner. We have seen over the last 24 hours, specifically the last 12 hours, the largest liquidation event since 2021 in the cryptocurrency market, with over $1.7 billion of longs and shorts liquidated in a very, very short period of time. Luckily, funding rates have reset now, so we're kind of out of that battleground. The volatility should calm down a little bit, but the altcoin market specifically got absolutely decimated. We saw altcoins, generally speaking, across the total three, dropping downwards 18% in less than a day. The vast majority of that drop happening in less than 8 hours. Absolutely cataclysmic drop on altcoins. Very much unheard of as of recently. Again, we haven't seen something like that since 2021, pretty much. Bitcoin got away a little bit easier, just gradual drops downwards on Bitcoin. You can see the price gradually going downwards in the 4-hourly chart there, but nothing too cataclysmic. It was mainly isolated within the altcoin market, and that's due to the fact that we had massively over-leveraged positions in the altcoin market. I warned of this a few days ago, but I also said on a macro scale, altcoins are still intact, and we shouldn't see a long-term or medium-term altcoin correction. I stand by that. I think this will be a short-lived drop for altcoins. I think the Bitcoin specifically is at risk of a more medium-term correction lasting potentially a week, maybe 2 weeks. That's something we can discuss today, and that's purely based on fractals from the price cycle. So it's not like I'm super confident in that. I'm just looking at the price cycle and extrapolating it forward. This, what we've seen in the last 24 hours, I know it was cataclysmic, but I'm going to show you today why it's not actually that unheard of and why it doesn't really affect the macro in any real sense. So I know there's a lot of fear in the market right now. A lot of people are getting very scared, but we need to reassure ourselves with the only thing that actually matters, which is the macro and the cyclical structures, and reassure ourselves that this is actually perfectly normal. The word normal being used loosely there, of course. So we'll get into all of this in a moment, but before we get into it, check out the Bitcoin exchange and the BitGet exchange. BitGet is pretty much global except for the USA. So if you're from the USA, you need to look elsewhere to Bitcoin. But if you're not from the USA, you can consider BitGet a very reputable exchange, been around for a long time, top 5 exchange and trading volume. Bitcoin is global non-KYC, available to everyone in the world, and 15% trading fee discounts with my referral links are being offered on both exchanges. So sign up with my referral link to these exchanges. It takes 30 seconds and you'll get a 15% trading fee discount attached to your account for life on every single buy and sell, exclusively with my referral link. They've got protection funds available in case they're hacked. They've got reserves information, everything you need on these exchanges. So help yourself and help me by getting on an exchange here. You won't regret it. Use my links down below if you're interested. And I'll quickly mention as well the VIP group on Telegram. If you want to get altcoin trading signals posted by myself, that's where you can get them. Check that out. PDF of all the historical trading results is publicly available. I don't hide the trading results. I'm very proud of them. All of that's on Telegram. Check that out if you're interested as well. Let's get into the content without further ado. Right, so cyclically speaking, and this is a chart I've looked at quite a lot at this point, we know where Bitcoin is, okay? We can compare the last cycle to this cycle. We know Bitcoin moves within the 4-year cycle, and so we can do that. We know that Bitcoin is basically at the 2021 all-time high breakout point and the first parabolic leg past that breakout point. Right, that's where Bitcoin is. The yellow circle, the yellow rectangle right here, in compared to 2021 is the relative point of the cycle that we're at currently. We're at the top of that move pretty much, it looks like at least. And at the top of that move, we see the first kind of correction after the first parabolic leg. What happens on that correction? Well, on that correction, that's when we see altcoins really start to take off. We've seen evidence of that already. You can see that in 2021, around the peak of that move, Bitcoin dominance took a plunge. Exact same thing is happening right now. You can also see around the peak of that move in 2021, the total cryptocurrency market cap chart for altcoins, the altcoin market cap chart, started to skyrocket. Again, exact same thing happening now. So all of the evidence, cyclically speaking, points to the fact that we are pretty much copying the first leg of the 2021 bull market. Now, obviously, eventually we will deviate and form a unique bull market structure like we do in all cycles. But at the moment, that's what we're doing. At the moment, we are copying this move. And the question becomes, well, when will we see our first correction? Because even though the 2021 parabolic bull market was mostly upside, of course, you see corrections during a bull market. And if you look in, if we zoom in here, we see that move in 2021 lasted about 4 separate weeks of upside before we saw a 30% correction to the downside on Bitcoin. Right now we have seen, guess what? About 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess you could say 5 weeks of upside, so maybe we're slightly overdue for a correction, and we've started to see a little bit of correction here with that massive liquidation event. Perhaps it continues downwards for a little bit longer. Perhaps we see a few weeks of correction. That would not be out of the ordinary, considering that's what we did in 2021. I'm not saying we're going to do it again, but the cyclical data does suggest that it would be very healthy if we did so. Now, what's interesting about 2021, and we've got the total cryptocurrency market cap chart for altcoins in red here, overlaid with the Bitcoin chart in 2021, is that when we saw that Bitcoin correction in 2021, we didn't see the altcoin market take much damage. And that's why in my video the other day, I came to the conclusion that the altcoin market shouldn't be taking much sustained damage even during a Bitcoin correction. Obviously, to some extent, that's been disproven because we've seen a massive cataclysmic correction, but that was a liquidation flush. So it's a little bit different to an actual sustained correction. I'm still agnostic on the idea that altcoins will see a sustained correction, even if Bitcoin does. I don't think it's guaranteed at all. It's not what happened last cycle. It doesn't have to happen. During altcoin seasons, you can see Bitcoin correct downwards gradually while altcoins continue rising or at least go sideways. And again, I'm still agnostic on that idea. I don't think altcoins have to go downwards with Bitcoin. But at the moment, the Bitcoin charts are looking a little rough. We take this daily chart analysis of the Bitcoin RSI, and obviously the red circles represent touches and rejections from the RSI triangle, and they are relatively placed in the price chart as well. So what you see is when we touch this RSI triangle, we see tops on the price chart, okay? Touch RSI triangle here, price chart topped out, kind of. Touch the RSI triangle here, price chart topped out, or at least these local moves topped out, and the same thing in regards to bottom. So the price chart reached a support zone here on the RSI, it led to a bottom on the price chart, RSI support, price chart bottom, RSI support, price chart bottom. You get the point here. The point is we've actually broken below that RSI structure as a whole, and it looks like we're failing failing to hold support, breaking below the RSI structure as a whole. Could be an RSI breakdown, which would be a breakdown of a structure from 4 months ago, which could lead to some sort of pretty significant medium-term correction. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see that on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin did go downwards all the way, honestly, it could go down to something like 74K and we'd still be perfectly intact, okay? I'm not saying it's going to go that low, but it certainly could do that and the market would actually still be healthy. We've got a lot of breathing room here on Bitcoin, especially given the idea that altcoins don't have to go down. If Bitcoin went down alone, it wouldn't be too concerning at all. Obviously, if we see altcoins start to get dragged down with Bitcoin significantly, and if Bitcoin continues downwards to something like 74K, that's when we start to get concerned. Again, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to go to 74K. I don't know where the hell Bitcoin's going next. Quite frankly, I don't. I'm basing this purely off the cyclical data. We are in price discovery here for Bitcoin. There's really not much data in this price region. Maybe it only goes to 84K. All right, that's perfectly possible. I don't know where it's going. What I'm saying is Bitcoin has breathing room, and if it goes down, it's not the end of the world, especially if altcoins don't go down with it. The macro support from the altcoin market is very clearly stationed at the the recent high in March 2024. In my view, that is a very clear weekly chart level where I'm circling right now on a few occasions, a very clear level that we need to be holding above. If we drop below that level, we'd be breaking below the neckline, which held for resistance for many, many months. That would be concerning. So we have breathing room here on altcoins as well. We also see the weekly chart RSI across the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart acting as a major macro support zone. As long as we're above that level, I don't see any reason to believe that this bull market is over for altcoins to any capacity. Right now, I see a market with lots of breathing room that has just moved upwards very, very massively. And if we saw a correction across this market right now, it would not concern me in the slightest. Ethereum, it's a very logical place to correct from. Ethereum just saw a rejection from its March 2024 high, literally saw a top in that region. If we came downwards, formed a higher low before going upwards again, it wouldn't be concerning at all. Again, altcoins don't need to go down, cyclically speaking. If we went upwards on altcoins and went downwards on Bitcoin, that would not be abnormal. That's exactly what happened in the last cycle. So hopefully that happens. Fingers crossed. Hopefully altcoins continue running. But at the moment, again, just to reiterate, I see a market with a lot of breathing room that has just moved upwards very, very massively without any real correction whatsoever. And I don't see a correction as very threatening at all. We look at the 2-week RSI and we see that we have not reached any of our cyclical top targets on the 2-week RSI or even on the 1-month RSI, for example. Again, our top target not being reached in the 1-month RSI, the thing that has led to the top in every single bull market upon touching it has not been reached. We've still got room to the upside to move there. And most importantly, if we're looking at the 4-year cycle, which honestly, I mean, the market did so much to reconnect to the 4-year cycle after our unexpected early top in March 2024, after 8 months of consolidation, just to get back on track with where we needed to be, breaking all-time highs perfectly as expected within November, cyclically speaking. You know, our 4-year cycle is still intact at this point, and it suggests a top in late 2025 until proven otherwise. You know, we've got a year, 10 months of breathing room here before the cyclical top is expected. We can see breaks. We can see breathing, time to breathe. We can see corrections. This is not abnormal at all. This is how the market generally works. So although we can, sit here and say we lack serious analysis, we haven't done much actual TA today, just because of where we are in the market, we're in price discovery. There's no real TA to be done. The short-term TA is not working. We've got volatile wicks everywhere. Liquidation events are occurring every single day. There's not much actual TA I can do. All I can do is look at the cycle, say we have breathing room, look at the fact that all of our top indicators have not been reached yet. There's no indication that this is a macro top, and say, okay, trust in the process. Let's just wait and see, right? We can identify our kind of invalidation zones. We know what they are. If Bitcoin dropped below our prior high of 74K, that would be an invalidation zone. Until that happens, there's really not much we can do other than sit back and just observe. It's quite interesting because, when I was making content during 2022, when I was making content during the bear market, there was a lot to talk about because we were going down to very important levels all the time. We were testing very important support levels and resistance levels. We were seeing interesting structures. But as the market goes higher and higher and higher, there's actually less and less and less to talk about because the conclusion's just the same every time. The cycle's intact. We're in a macro bull market. We can go down a little bit because we've gone upwards so much. Trust in the process. There's really not much else to say. So largest liquidation event in 3 years with very little macro consequence. Guys, trust in the process is all I can tell you at this point until proven otherwise. I appreciate you guys watching the content. Thank you so much. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Check out the exchanges, BitGet and Bit2Nix. If you want an exchange, these are the ones for you guys. 15% trading fee discounts with my referral links down below. Global access on Bit2Nix. Global except for the USA on BitGet. Take your pick. My VIP group, as I mentioned, is down below as well in Telegram. 4 trading plans posted per week. You can check it out if you're interested. We've got our PDF of all the historical trading results, all the wins, all the losses, fully transparent. You can view it there for free, so you can, not be blind signing up. You can actually sign up knowing how successful the group is, which is why I have it there exactly. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you soon.